Hello, everyone. I'm Maurice Waters, and welcome to Black Sci-Fi TV, where we do our best to inspire your imagination. And in this special segment, we're talking about Submerged Universe. And we're able to have a very special guest, the creator of Submerged Universe, Demetrius Witherspoon, who is the creator, the writer, the director, and producer. So, Demetrius, I'm going to start with you to talk about, what is Submerged Universe?
Well, we got to go back to like 2013. Creating this, inspired by Stargate and Star Wars and all those different genres, Star Trek. I created this story about a young lady that gets thrown into a multi-universe, and she has to find her way out and find her daughter. Because of this submerge experiment being done on her. And so we just kind of started from there. I had watched YouTube, me and my 14-year-old daughter, and started to learn how to work cameras and camera angles. And we went out and did it. We had probably about 8 people. And we started the story. And then I started to build on to that story world. And now we're up to 5 films, award-winning films, and they're on Amazon Prime and Roku. And also we have a animated pilot, Submerge Craig Conquest, that is based off my series, Story World. So
and so you just said something that I want to make sure everybody heard that. And that you're a self-taught filmmaker, yes. Right? Yes. That you in 2013, which is what, 8 years ago or so.
Yes.
That you just decided, because you like the genre, to learn whatever you need to learn and do the damn thing, basically.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. And because so many people think about doing it, never do it, or don't know how to approach that. So can you talk a little bit about the process of doing a film and how you learned, and to share that with some people?
Yeah, in high school, I wrote a script before. That was in high school. So after kids and jobs and everything else, and at the time I had lost my job and I was doing R&B singing, and I want to do some music videos. And so I started to learn camera work and things like that from YouTube. So dealing with sci-fi is a whole different genre, because you have to deal with, depending on what kind of sci-fi you're doing, visual effects and things like that. So I self-taught, looking at YouTube, how to do my visual effects and things like that. And so I try to lend my story to what I could do. And again, just continuously learning. And so after 3 films, I started to surround myself with people that know more than me. And so I became the director and producer and writer, and been able to work with so many talented people that have worked with Danny Glover and different movies on Netflix and things like that, and makeup artists. And
so you started with Submerge, and you just continued on with that, with Submerged Universe.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now I've done some commercials and music videos, but when I started Submerge, I right off the bat, we got into a big film festival, which is here, is Gen Con. Now that's a gaming convention. They have over 70,000 people come in. I mean, people fly in from Puerto Rico, and okay, this is pre-COVID, of course, but people flying in from Australia. I got to meet so many talented directors and filmmakers from all over the world at this this film festival. So that was our first big film festival with my little film. And so I continued to grow on, build on that. And, a lot of people say, well, you can't do anything with a short film. And I was like, well, what if I continue the story, and as soon as I got done with that first one, I started my next one. I didn't stop. I didn't wait on actors or whatever. I pulled from, writing another story in that universe, and then got to my third one. So by the time we got to our third one, we had 30 people on set. We had Bishop Stevens, who was on, let's see, The Girl on the Fourth Floor on Netflix, and he's on a bunch of different movies. He would drive from St. Louis, which is like 4 hours, and so to film with us, and then drive up to Chicago to film on Empire at the time. So, so he was, he became very invested in our films, and because he was a former WWE wrestler, he was working his way up into the films and things, and now he's got a lot of different Hollywood films he's working on. So so I was continuously learning and growing each time, and especially with sci-fi, you're dealing with, I got characters that are different colors, so you're dealing with a green screen or a blue screen, and where to place the mark for visual effects, for disappearing and things like that. And eventually I was able to pull in 5 visual effects guys by the time we got to the 5th one.
Mm-hmm. And so, and then the end product, you're winning awards over in India. And I'm just wondering if you can give us some insight and perspective on how sci-fi as a genre in film is celebrated in other countries and outside of the United States. I think we kind of here really look for, we're spoiled by the Star Wars graphics, the Lucas films, and, that high level, big budget that a lot of times doesn't have a story, just pretty pictures, but what's it like, outside of the United States, the response that you've seen and experienced?
It's been very good. Like, we got a small distribution in Japan for our first 3 films, and to see the reaction of people with that, Nari Reborn, and then with India, I think it's just funny how different genres, I can't even say the word, works in different areas, and so the response has been very good. So we had just won best short film, best animated film in one India film festival, and now we're in another, and right now we're at finalists for all 3 of my films over there. So the responses are really good, and to know that that's why we can't give up as filmmakers, because not everybody in the world has seen our films. You might think, oh, that's old. Okay, I'm trying to get to the next thing. Push it until the wheels fall off. It's like, because you don't know who is out there that hasn't seen it, and it's like, oh my God, I want more of that. So, I'm waiting to see even more. Hopefully, we get to go to Dubai or over in India to be able to be there physically sometime. Well, this is our latest comic book here, 51X, that I wrote, and then I have another one, Light, and this is on Amazon Prime and my website. Just it's part of building the story world, but it's different doors for people to come in from different angles. So there's people's like, oh, you got comic books? Yeah, but it's based off of the movie. Oh, you got movies? Okay, let me check those out, and so that expanding the universe in those ways have really helped, and especially with the novel we got on Amazon Prime, also exploring Submerge Echo 51. Again, people are able to get into the story world from different aspects.
Yeah, and I really have to compliment you as somebody who, I know a lot of filmmakers who really get caught up in just doing one film. and just getting one out there, done, completed, is a feat in of itself. And the fact that you've done continuous and then you've expanded into comic books, which is a whole nother area and a whole nother hurdle, and action figures and things like that. To me, you're somebody who, is at living outside the box. And as a person who's living outside of the box, I always like to ask, what inspires you? Because there are people who are watching you who may want to do what you do, and they may not pursue it, or they may not know how to, or that is even attainable. We don't really see, number one, many young Black men filmmakers, let alone within the sci-fi genre, let alone that, have produced things that have gone global. So what inspires you and your creativity?
I think growing up in a small town, and when we were younger, all we had was the movies. There was stuff to do outside, but movies for us, my family, inspired us, either writing or trying to do a little something on our own. So that's part of what I do. And so as I do it, I have a desire to bring people into a world where they're not worried about other things happening, and they're inspired by this world, or they feel a certain kind of way, and that brings joy to me. I get to do what I love, and so not many people can do that. But the thing is you got to just get out there and do it. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can use your phone or something, but just do it, and then do it again and do it again. And then eventually people will start to get drawn to you, and you'll start to work out relationships, but surround yourself with people that know more than you.
Mm-hmm. And on that note as well, as an independent filmmaker, right now, as of this recording, there's a lot of controversy going on with streaming versus, films being released in the theaters versus being released online or through a Netflix or an HBO Max. And, right now there's legal battles going on between the talent and the producers. And then, you have to also look at the filmmaker, and are they getting their due? So as an independent filmmaker, how do you navigate around those different avenues, or where do you think is, the right model of success for someone to pursue, or do you go through all of them?
I think all of them are important, but it's important as filmmakers to be watching what's happening, the next step happening. Mm-hmm. When the COVID hit, there was nothing but streaming. The cinemas were down, and so there were you had streaming platforms, and everybody's looking for content. That became key. And the next thing happened was drive-ins. People were doing drive-ins. Like we got a small distribution with drive-ins. So you got to be able to pivot as an independent filmmaker, and you want eyeballs on what you make, because for one thing, we want people to see what we make, but we want as many as we can. So the money's going to come. But I think, just trying to look at where the industry's going. Yes, theaters are most powerful. I missed it. I think it was a video that came on Facebook where it showed everybody at the Marvel when the Avengers was out. And I felt almost like tears because the whole theater roared, and I remember that feeling. So, theaters, they serve their purpose, but as independent filmmakers, this is the greatest opportunity, the greatest time for independent filmmakers to get your stuff out there. Right now, and we're about to kind of go back into pandemic. I hate to say a little bit more, but you can rent a theater for $100 or more. This is the prime time to show it. You might not be able to show it to thousands of people in there, but you can be able to get it in there. And then there's so many streaming avenues, Hulu, Amazon, Apple, Green
Roku.
TV, Roku.
Yeah.
So those are very important to be able to get in there, because you want eyes on what you do, and the money will come.
Yeah. What do you think was is your greatest challenge as a filmmaker today, and what you want to do and what you see the vision for your production company?
Well, as all of us, a lot of independent people and filmmakers deal with getting money for their project. I come up against that also. And a lot of times my vision might have to change a little bit, or how we go about it. But not so much that it doesn't become, out of place. But I think that's some of the challenges. And as you keep going, you start to work with better people, more professional people. And so that kind of eases the pain of working on a set. You become a family and you take them on to the next set. So I've experienced that. And then it's also the actors also. But I think just, getting funds for what I'm doing. And I've been fortunate to work with so many great people on that scene.
Mm-hmm. And then one last question before we ask you to, introduce the clip of Submerge Universe. And that is, if you stop today, we've never made another film today, and we look at your body of work, what is the one thing or one message that you want to convey or have us receive from your body of work that you do?
I would say that, it's not a race, but it's a marathon, because you can't do something overnight. This has happened over years. I see people look at what I've done and they like, oh, you just did this. And no, this is 8 years of working and collaborating with people. So it's a marathon, and to pace yourself and not look at what everybody else is doing, because their path is a little bit different from yours. And so you do your thing and everything will work out. You just got to stay focused.
Okay, awesome. And can you introduce us to the clip that we're going to see here today?
Yes, this is my fifth film in the Submerge Universe series. This is Submerge Blue Star, and it will be coming out in October 2021.
And Demetrius Witherspoon, I want to thank you for being a part of the show and, really inspiring us and sharing some of your struggle with us and your successes. And, we'll do everything we can to support Submerge Universe, and we're looking forward to great things.